Tonight on NewsVision, we now have a picture of the man who broke into multiple student apartments last week at Thesis and Vox. We will bring you all the updates. Plus, we are less than 2 weeks away from the midterm elections. We'll tell you what the candidates for Florida governor said this week during their one and only debate.
I don't want to ban abortion. I want to make sure we keep a woman's right to choose available to the women of the state of Florida.
And later on, a huge beach ball has been rolling around campus this week. We will tell you why.
We're going to bring the ball to the hospital to show all the support that we've done through fundraising.
All this and a lot more on tonight's show. NewsVision starts right now. Good evening and welcome to NewsVision. I'm Harvey Duplock.
And I'm Charlie Hill. Tonight we'll look at the trial for Oxford school shooter Ethan Crumbley and the Florida governor debate that happened on Monday.
But first, an update on the robberies that took place at 2 apartment buildings close to campus.
The man who broke into student apartments next to the University of Miami campus last week is still on the loose. University of Miami police have released photos of the offender, and they issued a statement describing him as a light-skinned male wearing a white button-down shirt, blue hat, gray shorts, white Crocs, and a black backpack. They have asked anyone with information to contact Coral Gables PD immediately. UMPD has released the following crime prevention tips. Lock your doors even if you are close by or only leaving for a few minutes. If you come home and discover a break-in may have occurred, do not enter the residence, and be conscious of your surroundings. If you notice any suspicious activity, call the police or security. The Gables Police Department is still investigating, and UMPD has increased patrols, and Coral Gables PD is asking anyone with information to immediately call 305-442-1600.
And one store on the University of Miami's Coral Gables campus creates anger, confusion, and disappointment for students. Reporter and executive producer Embrick Isles has the story of why a simple task has turned into a nightmare for many students.
The UPS store on the University of Miami's campus opened in August 2020 with one goal in mind, making student mail pickup more efficient. But 2 years later, students say the system has failed them.
It can be a really difficult process. They lose packages, you have a problem with the lockers.
Before the UPS store opened, mail was delivered to each residence hall's front desks. But now, over 5,000 on-campus residents have their mail sent to one place.
Thinking of first-year student move-in, returning student move-in, it's quite possibly, and it is based off the numbers I'm receiving from them, tens of thousands of packages per day.
The biggest issue is the first couple of weeks of school. After that, it's pretty smooth.
But UM sophomore Riley Borchardt faced long waits multiple times this semester, so Riley wanted to see if she could skip the line.
I prefer to get a locker because during the day, the line can be really, really long if you're trying to go in and wait, so I prefer to be able to just go in and get my package.
For $30 a semester, students can get access to lockers. Once packages are scanned and logged by UPS, students are emailed a 6-digit code to open them. But if a package doesn't fit, they must wait in line with everyone else.
I think there is some onus on the student to know that if they're ordering something that may not fit in the locker, then that may be something where they have to wait in the normal line for.
But many students like Riley have faced an even bigger issue, lost packages.
It's supposed to kind of be a guaranteed thing that I can get those packages, and it makes you have less trust in the UPS stores.
Riley's birthday present was lost for 2 months, even though her phone says it was delivered and sent through UPS. While she blames the store, manager Terry O'Brien says missing packages are rare.
Anybody that gets a package in here will find it. If it was delivered here, just because they say it was delivered doesn't mean it was delivered.
And when packages go missing, UPS and the UM administration say there are many reasons they can be lost.
It'll be under mom and dad's name or their friend's name, and what happens is if their box number's on it, it's going to be not in the system.
We've seen often that it could be a courier or delivery driver error where they mark that yes, this package at this time was delivered to 1211 Walsh Avenue.
UM and UPS say they have seen big improvements since 2020, but students have doubts that things will improve.
I don't really see them making any changes because they seem to be pretty content with it right now. They haven't tried to change anything.
Reporting for UMTV, I'm Embrick Isles.
The Topple Career Center is known for its career fairs and professional development advice, but now they have added something new to that list. Topple now offers free professional headshots. Students are able to access the photo booth from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, and no appointment is necessary. After entering Topple, walk towards the career coaching area where you can't miss it.
And what I loved about it is that it's self-service. You know, students can go in, they have the privacy because the door closes, and so they can go in there and, you know, really feel comfortable taking the pictures that they would feel most comfortable represents them.
Topple recommends that students wear business professional or business casual attire and solid colors, avoiding large amounts of white. Once a student enters the booth, they can follow the tutorial on the screen where they will be prompted to take up to 3 photos in one session, and those photos will be sent directly to their UM student email.
Efforts are underway at the Rosenstiel School of Marine, Atmospheric and Earth Science at the University of Miami to save a creature that is more powerful than what meets the eye. Reporter Ainsley Vetter tells us more.
Corals protect shorelines from storm surge, provide homes to hundreds of thousands of species, and boost Florida's economy by attracting fishers and divers.
Corals are amazing creatures. They're animals, but they remain sort of stuck to the seafloor for most of their life. And they build reef ecosystems, and these reef ecosystems, which are built up over the decades and centuries, are like underwater animal forests.
But carbon emissions and water temperature have been rising, leaving corals struggling to survive.
As humans are starting to change the climate, corals are now exposed to waters during the summer that are warmer than they like. When that happens, they do what's called bleaching and lose their zooxanthellae, which is a major source of their food, and then they can die.
Now, researchers at the University of Miami are testing the heat stress on coral at different temperatures in their labs and finding the most adaptable genetics of the different coral species. The lab then crossbreeds the coral to give them the best chance at survival.
Just like you and I have different color eye or hair color, corals have come from different parents. They have different sets of genes, and sometimes those genes code for, it seems, greater tolerance to these warmer temperatures.
Once a genetic makeup is successful, researchers plant these hybrid corals into the ocean to give the coral a chance to regrow into the beautiful reefs we know and love, at least for now.
Much of the research that I do on coral reefs is really designed to just buy as much time as possible as we can for corals to give them a fighting chance of surviving the next few decades.
For UMTV, I'm Ainsley Vetter.
One club on campus aims to embrace natural hair while defying societal standards. UM's Hairology Club hosted a Braiding 101 workshop in the Salela Activities Room. The Hairology e-board taught members various methods of braiding, such as cornrows, individuals, and twists. Members were provided with practice heads to make the experience hands-on.
So with Hairology, we aim to celebrate our culture and just showcase our culture. And a big part of our culture is braiding our hair. You know, starting off when we were younger, getting our hair braided, even growing up, getting braids, individuals, all of that nature.
Students who took the workshop say it is very important for them to learn how to do their own hair while away at college.
And last Friday, the University of Miami got a little taste of Asia. The Asian American Student Association lit up the UM campus with a celebration of culture. Reporter Melanie Lowe has the story.
The center of campus is always busy, but now it's a little brighter.
What's really important about Lantern Festival this year is that people are celebrating Asian culture. We have a lot of visibility on campus.
On October 22nd, the University of Miami's Asian American Student Association, or AASA, hosted its annual Lantern Festival at Lake Osceola. In collaboration with the School of Architecture and its student council, AASA displayed Asian culture and diversity here in Miami. Several on-campus multicultural organizations, including the Indian Students Association and the Filipino Student Association, joined the celebration, which featured a collection of food, games, and music, with the goal of showcasing Asian student culture. The Lantern Festival marked the beginning of the Autumn Festival, a traditional celebration of the autumn moon in Asian countries.
We hold it at a kind of random time in the year, but it's right between Mid-Autumn Festival, which is one of the biggest Asian holidays in Eastern Asia, and then Diwali is literally this Monday, and that's a Hindu holiday. Between South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Eastern Asia, like it just meshes everything together, and that's why this festival is so important.
The highlight of the festival was the release of lanterns like these into Lake Osceola. Students learned the history of the lanterns and designed their own to put on display. The lake was beautifully illuminated in this celebration of Asian culture and heritage for students on campus and around the world. The festival brought students together for a beautiful night of laughter, culture, and community. And organizers say they plan to host more events soon. For UMTV, I'm Melanie Lowe.
2 different Greek-like organizations have paired up to raise money for 2 different charities. Our reporter Bella Papadouk joins us now live from Frat Row near campus to tell us more. Bella, what's going on?
Hey Charlie, I'm here at the Pi Kappa Alpha Fraternity House where they're teaming up with the ladies of Alpha Delta Pi to host a wing fling. They're selling different wings here tonight until 8 p.m. The event is to support 80 Pi's Philanthropy, the Ronald McDonald House of South Florida, and Pike's Philanthropy, Dudes for Dads. Dudes for Dads is a nonprofit organization that was actually founded by 3 of the Pike brothers themselves. This organization aims to help high-risk youth in South Florida who don't have father figures in their lives. And the organization is especially important to its organizers because they lost their fathers and they want to keep helping people in the community. Reporting live for UMTV, I'm Bella Papadouk.
Thanks, Bella. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll bring you the latest in the Kanye West story and updates from the Florida gubernatorial debate. Stay with us.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
You said make it bigger, baby. The bigger the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
The individual responsible for a school shooting in Michigan last year has pled guilty to all his charges this week. 16-year-old Ethan Crumbley killed 4 people and injured 7 more at Oxford High School in November 2021. Earlier this year, Crumbley planned to plead insanity, but this week he pled guilty to all 24 charges against him. The charges included first-degree murder, attempted murder, and terrorism.
The individual who committed the shootings at Oxford High School pled guilty to all charges this morning, including terrorism. We are not aware of any other case anywhere in the country where a mass shooter has been convicted of terrorism on state charges.
Crumbley has been charged as an adult and still faces life without parole despite his guilty plea.
After almost 1 year, the victims and families of the Waukesha, Wisconsin Christmas parade attack have some closure. Yesterday, Darrell Brooks was found guilty of 6 counts of intentional homicide. Last November, Brooks drove his SUV into a crowd where he hit 68 people.
He put people through so much pain and suffering for what his actions were.
Don Teagues' son Eric was critically injured in the parade as he marched with the Waukesha South Band and has faced a long recovery.
I mean, you're hearing the horns honking here. You feel kind of the same way right now?
Yeah, it's been a long day waiting. Something that this community needed is closure. You know, we're just so thankful for the community, the support that we've been getting.
Amber Conkey's daughter, Jesselyn, was critically injured and is still recovering from another recent surgery.
All of this is important to me, for not just my child, but for everybody. It's all very important. It means a ton. I mean, my daughter was ran over that day, so you know, it just means a bunch to me. It really does.
The family of dancing granny Virginia Sorensen, killed in the parade, placed a vial of her ashes in the courtroom as the verdicts were read.
We've been praying for this day for a long time, and this morning my 5-year-old daughter came up to me and handed handed me this necklace with my mom's ashes in it, and she told me to take my mom with us for the sentencing. So she was with us today, and I just want to thank everyone for what they did today.
It's been a difficult day. I know that this will give us healing. This is another step forward in this process. We've been resilient all the way through. One of the things that I've said so much throughout this is that we're stronger than him, and it's been proven today.
Brooks was also convicted of 61 counts of recklessly endangering safety with the use of a dangerous weapon, 6 counts of fatal hit and run, and other charges. He faces a mandatory sentence of life in prison for the homicide convictions.
Ye, the rapper formerly known as Kanye West, is no longer a billionaire after being dropped by multiple brands following anti-Semitic comments he made on social media in recent weeks. West has reportedly lost more than $2 billion this week after brands like Adidas, Gap, and Balenciaga severed ties with the rapper and fashion designer. The situation has brought to light Ye's history of anti-Semitism and pro-Nazi actions. The subject of Kanye West's anti-Semitism came up during a meeting at the White House between President Joe Biden and his Israeli counterpart, Isaac Herzog. They also discussed the recent rise of anti-Semitism across the world.
History teaches us that usually it starts with hating Jews, with blaming Jews, with terrible rhetoric that people say, you know, okay, he said it. And that's why I'm extremely pleased.
After his meeting with President Biden, Herzog called him a true friend of Israel, and he also called the U.S. Israel's strongest historical ally.
Well, Charlie, Adidas definitely rained on Ye's parade, but for a very good reason.
I agree. Let's hand it over to Quinn Davidson with the weather for this week and see if any of those showers will reach us. Quinn?
It seems that the South Florida dry season has kicked into full swing. We have not seen rain over the past few days, and this pattern will continue over the next week or so. Taking a look outside right now, we have temperatures sitting around 81 degrees here in Miami, 81 in Fort Myers, 77 in Naples. Absolutely beautiful outside. Definitely get out there. It's very dry and comfortable for this time of year. Looking at our futurecast, there is a cold front that is situated over the southeastern United States, extending into the Gulf of Mexico. And this does push forward across the central area of Florida, but it does remain stationary, which is allowing for those dry conditions and amazing temperatures to persist over the next week or so. And it is going to allow for our trick-or-treat forecast to have nothing spooky about it. And we are looking at absolutely gorgeous conditions in the upper 70s on our trick-or-treating for those heading out of the house. Absolutely amazing. Taking a look at our forecast for tonight, we are looking at mostly clear conditions and 73 degrees. And tomorrow, 85 degrees, absolutely sunny, beautiful, and gorgeous. We do have the chance for some spotty showers north of us here in Miami. So if you are in the Lake Okeechobee region or north, there is the chance, but not here for us in the Miami-Dade region. And looking at our 7-day forecast, what could you even complain about? There is absolutely beautiful conditions, 80s and 70s for our lows, and an absolutely beautiful day for us on Halloween. So definitely absolutely something to look forward to for us here in Miami. Back to you.
Thank you, Quinn. Now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis faced off against his Democratic opponent, Charlie Crist, on Monday. The highly anticipated debate was pushed back to this week because of Hurricane Ian. The two sparred over a range of issues, with abortion at the center of both campaigns, with Governor DeSantis defending an abortion bill he passed earlier this year.
I don't want to ban abortion. I want to make sure we keep a woman's right to choose available to the women of the state of Florida. And I want to make sure that we don't have a governor in the future who wouldn't even allow exceptions for rape or incest.
DeSantis is a rising star in the Republican Party, and some speculate he may run for president in 2024. DeSantis was voted the second most popular presidential candidate behind Trump at a conservative conference in August. And Crist pushed DeSantis, asking him to tell voters about his future political ambitions.
You're running for governor, and I have a question for you. You're running for governor. Why don't you look in the eyes of the people of the state of Florida and say to them, if you're reelected, you will serve a full 4-year term as governor? Yes or no?
Well, listen, I know that Charlie's interested in talking about 2024 and Joe Biden, but I just want to make things very, very clear. The only worn-out old donkey I'm looking to put out to pasture is Charlie Crist.
Early voting is underway in most central Florida counties and will continue through the first week of November. You can vote now or on Election Day, Tuesday, November 8th.
A new COVID-19 booster shot is approved by the FDA, and President Biden is encouraging Americans to get the updated shot. And so far, only 20 million Americans have received the new vaccine. The new booster comes right before the holiday and flu seasons. The shot is bivalent, which means it includes components from the original coronavirus strain and the Omicron strain for better protection. The FDA says as time goes on, the virus changes, and your immunity can decrease.
I'm calling on all Americans. Seems like you're having to make this case again. All Americans to get their shots just as soon as they can. Your old vaccine or your previous COVID infection will not give you maximum protection.
The new booster is free and widely available, but eligibility depends on your age, when you completed your primary vaccination, and your most recent booster dose. To find where you can get the updated booster shot, visit the website vaccine.gov.
The United Kingdom has yet another Prime Minister. Rishi Sunak was elected the new leader of the Conservative Party after Liz Truss resigned last week, making him the third Prime Minister in just 3 months. And the first British Prime Minister of colour. The 42-year-old is also the youngest UK leader in over 200 years. The former finance minister ran against Liz Truss, where he came in second place. And on Tuesday, in front of 10 Downing Street, Sunak pledged to be a Prime Minister for all.
The government I lead will not leave the next generation, your children and grandchildren, with a debt to settle that we were too weak to pay ourselves. I will unite our country, not with words, but with action.
Sunak's appointment stabilised markets and the British pound after Truss announced tax cuts that ultimately caused her resignation.
It's time to take a break now, but when NewsVision returns, both football teams in Miami are struggling. Did the Finns and the Canes get back in the right track last weekend? The answers and more when we return.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Okay, Simon, what do people wear?
Clothes.
That's right, so it's important to learn how to dress yourself. Here's how it's done. Shirt, underwear, pants, socks, shoes. Underwear, always first, name tag on the back. Then pants and shirt. Go ahead and put this on. Now with the shirt, you want to make sure the first button's right or you have to start all over again, okay? Socks left on left, right on right. Tying the shoes, we're gonna take the laces, we're gonna cross them over, we're gonna turn around where the bunny goes down in the hole, pull it tight, and bunny ears. Got it?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Welcome to sports. I'm Manny Nacarado. The Miami Dolphins were back at Hard Rock for the first time in a month to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers in a primetime Sunday night football matchup. Let's take a look at those highlights. This is Tua's first game back since that big hit he took in Cincinnati. But the Dolphins had a big drive, and at the 10-yard line now, Tua steps up and finds Raheem Mostert in the backfield for an easy first score in the first quarter. Now Pittsburgh in the hole, but Kenny Pickett finds George Pickens in the end zone for an amazing touchdown. Now at the end of the game, Kenny Pickett needs the score for the win for the Steelers. He's scrambling and throws a pick to Noah Igbenogany. This is going to seal the game for the Miami Dolphins with that game-saving pick. And did he get both feet in? Yes, he did. The Dolphins are going to move to 4-3, and they're going to play against the Lions this Sunday at 1 p.m. And switching from the Dolphins to the Hurricanes, Miami faced off against Duke at home in an ACC matchup. Tyler Van Dyke went down early in the game, so Jake Garcia got an opportunity to play. He threw for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns, but 3 costly interceptions. In fact, the team had 8 turnovers on the day, the most turnovers in a game ever for the Hurricanes. With a stat line like that, the Hurricanes went down 45-21. Their next game is coming up this Saturday away against Virginia at 12:30 in Charlottesville. Many of us love sports, to watch sports and our favorite athletes, but some of the most important people of athletics are actually behind the scenes, and I recently met with one of them. Tennis, track, soccer. Sports we all know and love for the athletes, but some of the most important components are left to the unsung heroes.
My full name is Ariel Scavo, and I'm the Director of Olympic Equipment Operations here at the university. We do a lot of laundry, we do a lot of ordering, we do a lot of outfitting these athletes. We do a lot of walking around and making sure that the coaches are set up, and we just have to have it ready before practice.
And while it's not the most glamorous job, Ariel's work doesn't go unnoticed.
She does her job in an unbelievable way, and you know, I talk to the coaches about her, talk to the athletes about her, and everybody loves Ariel. And you know, she loves what she does. And I hope she got that from me, because I love what I do.
Laundry ladies!
Her role is very critical for our performance, because each athlete, depending on their event, has a different shoe, and knowing that and knowing what they need and staying on top of it. So her understanding the role in our sport and the nuances in track and field that you may not have in another sport are critical to our success.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an honor. I really do love my job, and I take my job seriously. I tell, you know, both of my assistants in here, like anything that has our name on it, we're going to do it to perfection. I think what we do is extremely important, and like I said, I take a lot of pride in it, and putting out those jerseys for these student athletes on their game days means a lot to me, because I know it means a lot to them.
And that's all the time we have for sports for today. I'm Manny Nacarado, and back to you, Charlie.
Thanks, Manny. Tonight in Studio C, thanks for staying with NewsVision. Inflation has been affecting everything in consumers' lives, including sweets and treats. And this weekend, consumers will have to pay a price for Halloween candy.
Here are AARP top tips on caregiver preparedness during coronavirus. Form a team that can help with caregiving tasks. Take an inventory of essential supplies in your loved one's home. Make a list of the care recipient's medications. Schedule regular calls to fight isolation. Finally, take care of yourself too. Follow the Centers for Disease Control's guidelines for coronavirus safety. For more caregiving tips, go to aarp.org/caregiving.
Thank you for staying with NewsVision. Inflation has been affecting everything in consumers' lives, including sweets and treats. And this weekend, consumers will have to pay a scary high price for Halloween candy. According to a report from S&P Global Market Intelligence, the cost of candy is expected to be 14% higher than 2021. Also affecting the candy prices is the method of shrinkflation, which is when you get less product for more money.
Wow, 14% more for candy this year. I am happy trick-or-treating is free.
That's awful. I don't have the time for that.
And finally, some of you may have seen a giant beach ball rolling around campus this week. Now, this is a philanthropy effort by the Brothers of Zeta Beta Tau fraternity. So far, this ball has collected hundreds of signatures that will be on display at St. Nicholas Children's Hospital here in Miami.
What the signatures are going to do. So we're going to bring the ball to the hospital to show all the support that we've done through fundraising, and the hospital is going to display it.
If you want to get involved with raising money for Children's Miracle Network or would like to know more about ZBT, check out their Instagram at ZBTUMiami.
Now that's all the time we have for today. I'm Charlie Hill.
And I'm Harvey Duplug. Thank you for joining us and have a great Halloween weekend. And check out Off the Wire right after this in Studio C.